Well, welcome everybody.
Welcome.
How are you?
You hush it. I said welcome.
I
You
know.
don't need to say welcome. No, we said welcome together. We all welcome. Welcome to the channel, everybody. We got a fun-filled show for you today. We got some things to talk about from some what's up categories, I like to call it, and some we're going to break into our part 2 on things. But before we go any further, I'm Corey Prats.
I'm Chris Ruck.
And you are, well, this is Craving Cars. I was about to say you were watching Craving Cars. But yeah, you are.
Live.
But this is. It is.
It is
Craving
our live session, that's for sure.
Live, baby.
Yep.
That's right. It's kind of like the news channels that go live, only better.
Well, I don't know. I think we do a better job, hopefully.
Well, not telling the news because we don't tell the news, but who wants to? I mean, if you want to know the news, then you're not here watching this anyways.
That's probably true.
Unless it's car news, because we have a little bit of that, sort of. Anyways,
Let's run through our sponsors.
yeah, we do have some of those, don't we?
We do.
That do help.
And most of them do a great job. Some of them do a better job.
So they all do great jobs and then better jobs.
That's right.
But they do help.
Every little bit helps.
Keep this channel going.
We are warriors, Jason. Apparel.
Apparel. Oh, you got right there, bud. Show it. Show 'em.
You go. Yeah, I got it. Got the new one on. I'd show you the back, but
He's got a green version. I got like a red version. I had it on there like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
We are warriorsapparel.com. Uncorked wine and spirits for your for anything
All
in the
your
Kansas City
beverage
metro area.
needs.
And
If you're looking for something new, if you're tired of what you've been drinking for a long time, you want to try something new, go check them out. They'll give you samples. They'll talk to you about stuff.
you want to try something old? You can still go there. That's fine.
Yeah,
too.
that's true. The older, the better.
That's right.
Always. Isn't that what it comes out of?
We got Richline Motorsports because they've always kind of backed us.
JD's always been there for us, and so is Steve. And you know, they've always brought out some amazing cars to our own events.
Yep.
That normally you wouldn't see unless you go to like a big event. So
Yes,
we
right.
appreciate that.
And we also have Big T in the house for timely delivery service.
Yep.
OTDS, always helping us out.
You sick of your packages being late? I am. I want my stuff to be on time.
I tell you what, if you have some kind of apparel company that makes stuff and you need delivery service from them, because that's mainly
There
what
you
you
go.
deliver, I think that's just let them do it because they're going to get there sooner than everybody else and
That's right.
in a timely delivery service.
That's right. And
It's all in the
speaking
name.
of them, we got to give a shout out, and not a sponsor, but kind of a sponsor because it goes through Tim Freestyle.
Oh, yeah.
They designed our shirts that we give away.
Hold on.
What?
Which direction do I have to
This is
go?
why I didn't want to
hold
stand
on.
up.
Is it on the wait? Is this on the? Is it on the back? You got it? You got it?
There it is. Yep, I got it. There you go. There you go. This is why I didn't want to stand up.
If I tell you what, if you've gotten a shirt from us, their logo is on the back because they did all the printing on it. For doing that,
And that's a big deal. Honestly,
that's an awesome deal.
That's a big deal for us. So we appreciate Tim.
They did a great job, Tim, and with Freestyle
And his wife.
Graphics and Lee Summit.
They always do a great job for us.
Yes, they do. We got Flying H Drag Strip, which
Need say no more.
no, it's an awesome place.
Yes.
And we didn't get to do much with Mega Week because there was a whole bunch of rain too, and
things got canceled.
I don't know what I don't know what they even did.
No, you know what? I was so confused on that because things got shuffled. First off,
Hold on, someone might be able to tell us what they did.
drive,
and repeat.
Yep, they're on the show today.
They
Welcome, guys.
They should be able to tell us if anything truly got done. Did they finish? Is it rescheduled? Whatever it is,
Yeah,
we
please
need
tell
to
us
get
about
back
it.
out. We need to get back out there.
Yeah, because just to get a history behind it is we went on their show to talk about Mega Week because we're used to dealing with Flying H,
Yep.
and it went we
were
crazy.
supposed to go out. We were going to go out there and we were going to meet up with them live. Well,
Yep.
whether we're going to be live or not, either way, we were going to meet up with them at the drag strip, and never made it out to the drag strip, and it
That's
was
right.
raining like
That's right.
a good chunk of it, wasn't it?
It was. It was. Hopefully, if they're on the
Either way.
chat, you can, if they have any questions or anything, put it up.
Yeah, do that. Anybody, you got something you got a question?
Yeah, well, we got topics.
you put it in
of
the
course.
chat so Chris can ignore it.
Well, that's probably going to be given.
I don't know if are you even looking at the chat?
I know
It
I'm
might be-
trying
I might be
to,
doing-
but
oh, okay.
just
Okay.
like shuffling 6 different
And-
things.
Well, also, and last but not least, here live at the studio is Auto Beauty Center's studio basically. Where we're at live at Auto Beauty Center.
Give us a great room. We brought all the gear and everything in.
If you need anything, look them up, autobeautycenter.com.
That's right.
And if you need some sort of things done work-wise, that's where you go.
There you go.
Okay.
And of course, cartoons, which is my thing that I do. You know, we dedicate a lot of music service. I know you hate me promoting myself.
I thought we deleted that off the sponsor list. No, I kid. No.
We could break the whole studio down.
Okay. I know we joke a lot.
Yeah, we do.
I know, like, it might look like at times I talk down to Chris. That's not joking. But
That's right.
Chris does an amazing job doing certain event stuff
thank
his
you.
car things. DJ-wise, he is second to none.
Well, thanks.
But when I say that, it means he's not first.
Yeah. There's always somebody ahead of me.
So there's some DJ guy out there called None, and he's second to that person.
That's awesome. All right. What do we got for tonight? I know our people are listening.
I'm going to go on with this. One, dumbest cars. We've been talking about it. We haven't gone too much into it because I just want you guys in this comments.
We need a list.
Not just in the chat. I want it in the comments of the video part itself.
That's right.
And I don't actually, does that even go live until after it's done live?
No, but we don't need it right now.
No.
You can post it in both.
Go back in the comments, post the dumbest cars. I'm talking like, not just like recently. In the history of cars, what is the dumbest automobiles ever made?
I think every generation had their dumbest cars.
Every generation's definitely got a fair suit of some dumbass shit.
It's like, why'd they create that?
So I want to keep that going. And actually, make sure you are subscribed to this channel so you can, one, make sure you can get to those comments. Right. Two, follow us on Facebook and Instagram because we'll probably slowly be sort of kind of putting posts. I want this to go for a few months before we kind of I think we're going to do like a full episode on dumbest cars. Yeah. But I want everybody's feedback. I want a list and then some. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
that'd be great.
So dumbest automobiles that you think has ever existed in the life of automobiles. I have no idea what accent that is, but hey, I thought it sounded pretty cool.
It's kind of sounded German, but American German.
American German. I got to, I'm really good. I'm not good at my German accents. I need to practice on that. So if you think that's close, I need to work on that.
No, it's not even close. I guarantee you.
It's 9! That's the only thing I can do in German.
Okay, everybody can do 9.
But they got to do it in the German accent.
Well, okay, you mean, in that.
9! You got to really put it, 9! You got to really put it in there, like you got something in your throat.
Angry.
And you got something coming in the back of your nose.
There you go.
Okay, I want to make an announcement for a car show that is going on this weekend. Not in the Kansas City area. It's in the Wichita area. If you don't know where Wichita's at, it's in the state of Kansas.
What you got?
Which some people think Missouri is the state of Kansas.
I just heard about this
according to the president.
Actually. So.
What?
I just heard about this.
Okay, so it's called the Automobilia Moonlight Car Show and Street Party. I have not been to this. So Craving Cars has joined that show pre-COVID. So that's how long ago it was.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
At 18 and 19.
I don't even remember 18.
And to be honest, I might have a little bit of footage out there if you want to check it out, but I don't know. I'm going to be honest, I'd have to go back and look myself. It's been that long.
Yeah.
Because during those times, we were going to so many different events and filming so many different things. That might have been one of those things where I got out of town and just was like, enjoying myself and just not, I put the camera down and didn't do a whole lot. Either way, what it is in downtown Wichita, they closed down quite a few blocks. And now this one, I guess they have a center now. It's indoors. I guess they're opening that up too, so cars will be inside.
Oh, like a convention center.
Yes.
Okay.
But it didn't used to have that at all. It literally was, you would walk in, you'd have 5-block radius of cars up and down the streets.
Gotcha.
Bands on each. They had 3 different bands going on each different side of downtown going. I mean, truly, when they say street party, it is a street party. It truly is. I mean, just everything everywhere. Vendors just random everywhere. Food things are random everywhere. And just amazing cars. Now, it's going on Saturday. When I say Saturday, what is today? 12th. It's going on the 14th in Wichita. If you're not watching this live and you're seeing it afterwards, well, you done missed the show. I don't know who's going to be there or if anyone's going to be there filming or doing something, but I mean, I think it's worth looking up. It's a really cool, I actually think it's probably Kansas's best car show in the state of Kansas.
Okay. Well, be interesting.
I say that because I don't really know of a whole lot of other Kansas car shows outside of the Kansas City, Missouri / Kansas City, Kansas metro area. outside of that is the best car show
So
in
you're
Kansas.
going from a small circle outside to outside to
I mean,
outside.
it's like we have so many things going on in Missouri,
know.
or like in
Yeah,
Kansas
we
City. Half the time it's in Missouri, half the time it's in Kansas. I can't keep track. So if there was a bigger one, and actually I don't think there was a bigger one in Kansas, because even like I don't know, Street Car Takeovers in Missouri, the World of Wheels is in Missouri. We're just gonna go with that. Biggest car show probably in the state of Kansas.
All right.
Leave a comment down below
We'll go with that.
or in the chat if you think there's a bigger one. But it's enough said. It's an awesome thing. But it isn't. When I say moonlight, it does go late. Like it starts in the afternoon, but it goes as late as you want it to go.
Oh, this is
And
like
they go like on a cruise.
This is like a Wayne stock
dude.
thing.
They go like on a cruise at midnight.
Okay, I got you.
I mean, it's just. Anyways,
Well, that sounds good.
there you go. I thought I'd give a shout out. Craving Cars would have a presence this weekend, but one of us has to go to a wedding. Thanks,
Yeah.
friend, for having a wedding.
So anyway, it's a great event. We won't be there though.
Thanks, my best friend and brother, for getting married.
There you go.
Appreciate it. You know, he's not watching this. It's okay. I can make fun of him.
Yeah.
I was just kidding if you are watching this.
All right. So what we do? We didn't do anything over the weekend.
You know what? We didn't, because there was one show we were thinking of going to, was in the Ozarks.
Yep.
They did end up having the show, but it was weird rain.
Yeah, it was hit
On
or
and
miss.
off, on
Yeah,
and
we
off. It
weren't
was
sure.
pouring.
And, yeah.
It was supposed to get hit pretty bad there. It actually lightened up. It did diminish the people there, but I've got people that were showing me pictures from there. It still happened, but I'd have been driving down there with the steering wheel sideways with the wind,
Right.
all the way down
On the
there with the
van.
van just to try
Yep,
to,
there you go.
So I opted and pulled the card not to go. I'm sorry, guys. I couldn't show you the Ozark show.
That's right. We got more stuff coming up from the Ozarks for sure.
Oh, yeah, we do. But we did something else. We actually did something else.
We did Monday and Tuesday.
It took a few days.
It did.
And it took a few long days.
They were some long days, especially during a work week, right?
In a good way. Yeah, because it was a
believe it or
Monday.
not, we
and
just
a
don't do
Tuesday.
this. I wish that's all we had to do, but we just don't do this.
If
We
you
have jobs.
If you only know the podcast, thanks for joining.
Yeah.
And thanks for watching. If you
right.
don't, you understand. If you don't just know the podcast, you understand. But if you just watch the podcast, maybe you should make sure you're watching the other stuff too.
Yeah.
It's worth it. However, we did an event that it was the first we've seen in Kansas City, right?
Yes, it was.
I think it's been in Kansas City before.
It has, but pre-COVID.
But it was a long time ago.
Yep.
Okay. So
Yep.
it's happened every year
Yep.
at many other places.
Of course.
But we've never been able to attend.
Right.
But the luck of the draw, we got to attend.
And good people we know.
Amazing people we know.
Yeah. Wayne and Tanya.
And we had them on last week. What did we go to, Chris?
We went to the Bandit Run.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, which was a 4-day event, but in Kansas City it was only 2 days. They're still running.
Oh, yeah.
Tonight. They're still driving.
So we didn't cover the 100% full event because they
Yeah.
went to Omaha. They went to Topeka. I think it was Omaha. Didn't they go to Omaha? They went up to Nebraska, I thought.
They went to Nebraska.
Maybe it was Lincoln. Whatever it was, they went to Nebraska, I think.
Yep. And then they're going towards Tennessee.
They went to Topeka because, let's break it down for them. Let's not confuse people too much.
Yeah.
2 nights here in Kansas City. Night number 1, people got in the town, and then there's a big movie night.
It was.
So
we
over
had
at
a
the
great time.
Wayne Stock Properties,
Yep.
they had a movie night. So we had a big, huge, like the side of the building.
Yeah.
With an amazing projector.
Yeah, let's
that-
not undersell ourselves.
That Chris came up with somehow. Projected Smoking the Bandit 2. Now, they usually always
That's
do
right.
the first movie. This is the first year that they've did the second
We
movie.
lit up the whole side of the barn.
And the reason being, because if you guys haven't watched the second movie, so the first movie, the whole idea is Snowman was transporting Coors.
yeah.
Or beer.
This is a beer thing.
The second movie, they were transporting an elephant.
Yeah. I'm going to see if I can play this without the music kicking
They
in.
went and saw this elephant. I think it was in Topeka?
You're talking about Charlotte. Charlotte the elephant.
They actually
Yeah. Still alive. Yeah. And the amazing story we heard is when she saw some of the cars pull up,
what? Do you have music in this?
There is.
Well, apparently they can hear it.
Yeah, but we can't.
Oh, I don't know why.
I think I know what happened. But that's okay. I turned it off now. I know you're not hearing it now.
It doesn't really matter. But no, that was fun. We have more content from that coming out.
We do. This is just giving you a glimpse into the run.
I just put like
parade.
a brief, like, here's an intro pictures out there. Yeah. I've got more and more of the show, and there's a little bit of video from both of us.
And we got private access to stuff that we'll talk about later, but let's get into the 90s.
I hear what really helped out with the movie and in the early during the days was it this like guy that came out from like cartoons or something. You ever heard of that?
That
one?
was me.
That was cartoon.
Yeah,
was that you?
It was
I
me.
thought that guy looked
That
familiar.
was special.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, me and Jerry Reed, we connected, man.
Chris did a good job. And the movie was great.
It was a good time.
The audio of the movie, I mean, that was better than going to a drive-in.
I thought so.
I mean, just because your audio is better than a drive-in audio, because you got to like try to go to your radio or something.
Right.
It's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, we had the subs
or you got to go to that little
everything.
speaker on the side.
Yeah, no, it was great. It was a great time, and it was cool to see all the Trans Ams lined up in the grass behind, and you don't understand it till you see how Wayne Stock and them do their property.
You'll see. We got more video coming up.
We do. So we'll get into it. But it was a great time. Monday was a late night. I think I got home at like 12:31, and I'd been there.
I know
since,
it was after midnight.
I'd been there since 1
on
p.m.
Monday.
Yeah,
and then we had to get up at 3:30.
Yeah, and then I had to. Yeah, we set up
and to get some things done, and then we had to be back
Yeah.
over Wayne Stock in the morning.
Yeah,
and that went late. Either way, it was great. It's just weird doing it on the weekdays that we did it. Yes, we've done shoots on weekdays and evenings, but this was like an all-day thing.
Yeah.
On a weekday.
12 hours
on a weekday.
of all day.
Yeah. So it was great. The Bandit Run, if you guys are remotely into the Bandit movies, are you remotely into Trans Ams, then you know what? You need to make it to a Bandit Run. Whether it ever comes back here or not, wherever it goes, make it.
That's right. All right, let's get into our show topic. We were talking about 80s and 90s of the last week-ish.
Yeah, we had a split because we had some guests on where we had to talk about different events.
So 2 weeks ago, we had the 80s.
Yeah,
now we're into the 90s.
So we're going to go into the 90s cars. I mean, we're basically kind of following the line of what you would call the greatest cars of the 90s. But really, turns out that list of cars is basically some of the most iconic ones that we remember and that were the most influential anyways. So we're going to get a little bit of help to show you some images from
if I can make it work.
A dear old magazine of mine. We did get some of these images from Road and Track.
And Car and Driver.
Road and Track. So it's thank you to those. We're not taking credit for these.
Yeah,
but
and actually,
we do want to give
section,
you a little bit of a visual.
This whole
of what
screen
cars we're talking
section is
about.
Motor Trend. Oh no, I'm sorry.
No, this was Road and Track.
Yeah, it is.
I think
Sorry.
this one's Road and Track.
Yep.
We might show you some other ones. Motor Trend could be in there. Motor Trend's big enough, right?
So what were we talking about?
So last time we were digging into just the most awesome cars in the 80s, the most retro known stuff. What do you guys think out there? What's the most?
Yeah, before I pull up the list,
for you?
what do you think are the greatest cars of the 90s?
Yeah.
And it could be, when we say 90s, it's just not like the.
Here, I guess before we go too far into
all right,
it.
what do you want to do?
Drag, drive, and repeat. Hey, hi guys.
Hey guys. Hey, thanks so much for having us on the show.
Stephen Miller. How's it going? We got Don on here. We got Wheels. We got our BFF.
Wheels.
And things like that. So the Wheels says he forgot about the Wichita show. He was going to go. Are you not going to go now? Is it too late? Can you not make it?
You can't go back in time.
All right. I don't know. Okay, that's fine. There's not any questions as of yet, but guys, by all means, put questions if you got any questions. But Will's already put out extra NSX. You know what? We're gonna get to that. Okay, just hold on to your britches.
Let's think
pal.
about it. But put it in the chat.
That's like car number 2. We're gonna.
You
talk
might
about.
come up with. I tell you what, if you came up with a car that is not on this list, we'll give you a free T-shirt. You meet us at our next event, you'll get a free T-shirt.
It's only going to be a medium, though. Or large.
Hey, Tim, we need more shirts.
Or large.
We have been giving away a lot of
We
gear.
might have some. I'll tell you what. Guys see us. I mean, I tell you what. You come to some events we're on. I've got some shirts for you. I've got some mediums. I got larges.
Yeah.
I got maybe a few extra larges, but for the most part, we got We got the other one.
That's right. If it's too big, we'll wet it down, make it shrink.
Will, you're jumping ahead on that last one. Okay.
Will's already. I guarantee you what Will's doing. He's on the page already.
Calm down, will you?
That's right.
My goodness gracious. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'll tell you what, let's get into it. So, one of the big things is what we talk about now is, the Honda Type R, the Civic Type R. That's
You know what? Really? Greatest? That's number one.
It's just going to, it's no particular order.
No, I think it is. It's greatest.
It's no particular order.
I think there is an
order.
Calm
down.
I think there is an order.
But we're going to talk about this. So actually, guys, for America, the first Type R that ever came to us was the Integra Type R that we got very briefly while that car still existed on just that model, that body style. When it changed the next one, it became the RSX, even though in Japan it was still called the Integra. But we didn't get a Type R of that one. But there we go. We did get we got, I think only for a few years, we did get a Type R. Integra, badass, awesome little just...
which one you going to?
VTEC tuned to the max on their 4-cylinder, NA and all that stuff. It was awesome. I think it was like 200 horsepower. For the 90s, that was a lot out of a 2-cylinder.
It was.
Out of a 2-cylinder or 2-liter 4-cylinder. I think it was a 2-liter. Either way, there you go, Will. Are you happy? Acura NSX, boy?
I think it's number one, Will. You let me know. I think that's the way they rank it.
That was not number one. Trust me, because when it
has to be. Why else would they put number one on there?
We're not necessarily going to cover everything in the same order.
Why would they put number one on there?
It's just, hey, we're going to talk about one. There's this one. It's just
I don't think
it probably even says up there. It's not even particular order. Just calm down.
Let me see.
Calm down. Because the last one on here is the one that's going to blow everybody away because that's the biggest, baddest fucking 90s.
Well, we'll get to that. Let's go down the list.
Hey, the Acura NSX, man, that was something else because
changer.
I know it had an Acura badge here, but everywhere else in the world, it was a Honda NSX.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a Honda division car. That Acura was only in America at the time. Now, even like the hybrid Acura NSX that came out, that's Acura everywhere now because they use that name. Just like Lexus and Infiniti uses their name worldwide now. It's not just in America like it was originally. But to have a car like that come out of Japan until then was unheard of.
And you know what? I think it was
mid-engine. I mean, that right there, anybody see that going on the road, they're immediately going, oh my God, look at this Ferrari coming up.
That was it. I think that's what they tried to do is it's a cheaper version of a Ferrari or something else, giving you the same kind of body styles.
They were trying to give it similar, performance, power, handling. Matter of fact, Ayrton Senna, Formula One driver, helped develop the handling of that car.
Oh, okay.
So he was also one of the
there you go
all-time greatest Formula One drivers.
All right, number 3, we do have something special to ask. It's a question, and
it was a question.
Nobody Google it.
We kind of got an answer.
Yeah, we do have an answer. We have the official answer.
I think it's the real answer.
That's right. So we're talking about the 91 to 93 GMC Cyclone. Why did they pronounce it with an S instead of a C?
Well, they spelled it, not pronounced it. No, Cyclone spelled with an S.
Yeah.
And most concerns due to possible...
You got 5 seconds. Post it. If you don't know it,
here you go.
Then don't know.
I said, don't Google it. I'm not going to say it. I'm going to tell them. Okay, let's talk about the truck. Dude, that truck was sweet.
It was.
That was like the world's fastest pickup.
Yep.
And actually, it dusted a whole lot of cars, too.
Yeah.
It might have been one of the fastest cars out of America at the time when that first came out.
Well,
vehicles.
So damn light.
It was pretty sweet. Well, you know what? The funny thing is...
It could beat a Ferrari from 0 to 60.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what Ferrari?
The Ferrari from 1991. That wasn't an F40. No F40s.
There you go. You want to tell them the answer just so, we don't have to give away a shirt?
Yeah, you better stop, Will. Okay. So, back in the 60s, the Mercury division came out with a car called a Cyclone.
Mm-hmm.
Spelled with a C. And I think we're pretty sure that GMC, or GM per se, didn't want to go, well, we better not put the same spelling of a car
and be sued
on one and have someone say, hey, you're using our name and it has some copyright infringements and all this shit. So they decided to say, well, okay, fine. We don't want to change the word, the name Cyclone. We'll just spell it differently. So they spell it with an S. Either that or the developer didn't know how to spell.
I don't think
that could be like an option.
You know what? It could be that way, but I doubt it. And of course, the legendary ZR1 when it first came out.
Actually, okay, but before I go to that one.
Oh, what do you want to do?
No, leave it on there. The Cyclone was faster than a Corvette. Not that Corvette. Yeah. Not the ZR1.
Yeah.
But it was faster than your typical Corvette when that came out.
Which was 91. So that was after the crossovers. Or Crossfire.
Well, the 92 is when they started getting the LT1.
Okay.
But even the LT1 wasn't as fast as that, as that truck.
Yeah. Probably emissions mandates.
The LT5 was a little bit quicker. Because the LT1 only had like 280 horsepower, give or take, 85.
Gotcha. Yep.
For the Corvette, I think at one point it got up to about 300 or 305 or something like that towards the end of it before the LS came out. However, LT5. Anybody know anything about that? You know anything about that? I'm going to educate you on this. That right there.
I was an import guy.
Is the only 32 valve V8 dual overhead cam Corvette.
Wow, you didn't even read that in the title.
Because I know everything about it.
Oh, there you go. All right, tell us how special it was.
So that engine was developed through GM and Lotus. I know you're thinking weird because Lotus is usually like a suspension kind of thing. But Lotus helped them with that. They'll develop. That's where the 32 valve part comes in because a lot of like the V8s in like Europe and stuff was like 32 valve V8 type of things. Still a 5.7, so 350 still. From the lifetime that this car came out, it was about 375 to 400 horsepower. But you got to think the regular Corvette was what, 260, 280,
right,
somewhere around there. So that car right there was making people with Ferraris sweat because they had to work to try to keep up with one of those cars. That was ridiculous. But here's the kicker.
Well, you can see the Porsche in the background being smoked.
Do you want to know? And that's a V8 928 right there.
Yeah.
So back then, a nice loaded up Corvette was about $35,000. Nice that your car's so cheap.
I'd take that today, right?
That's right. Okay, so in order to get the ZR1 package, which obviously is the full fucking engine swap.
Yeah.
Not only that, it's a little bit wider, so you have slightly flared out. You have wider tires in the back and all that stuff. It only came in a manual transmission and all this kind of stuff. Do you want to know how much that extra was to go from a loaded up $35,000 Corvette to a ZR1?
$20,000 more.
$35,000.
So you're almost at $100,000.
So in order to buy a ZR1, it's the cost of buying two loaded up Corvettes.
Wow.
It was a $70,000 car, which actually put it in Ferrari price.
Yeah.
Because you can buy a Ferrari back then.
At the time. Yeah,
now, I'm not referring to an F40, but you can buy, whatever Ferrari was at that time. For that cost, but you're buying
Testarossa.
But you're buying you're not getting a Ferrari though. You know what I mean? You're getting you're getting an American.
You get the 328.
Yeah,
GT.
But you know what? God, if you've ever seen one of those cars in person, just look at the engine. There's so much engine under that hood.
Yeah,
it just looks so much more ridiculous. See that bump in the hood right there? That's not for looks on that one. It had to be there.
It had to be.
It had to be.
Yeah. All right, then of course Fox body.
Hey, we did talk about Fox body.
This is your thing, man.
We did talk about Fox bodies to the 80s because that was, the whole 80s had Fox bodies.
Fox bodies.
Majority of them, Mustangs.
The 90s look good though too.
But you know what? We're just bringing this one up because the Fox body was the end of the Fox body.
Yeah.
And it's such a cult following. Actually, it's beyond a cult following at this point. It's just a following. There are so many Fox body lovers out there.
Yep.
The Fox body prices have like just, I want to say gone through the roof. But they've doubled or tripled.
It's worth
in the last 5 years.
It was definitely worth your investment.
But there you go. It was a 5-liter V8. They were a punchy son of a bitch.
I didn't like all the plastic on
until
it,
the LT1 came out in '93 in the Camaros, and then the Fox bodies kind of were chasing the Camaros instead of the other way around. Yeah. But before that, the Mustang or the Camaros were chasing them because. Those 5.0s.
They look good,
5.0s
but
that punch.
It's like we go through today. Everything's plastic.
It's what's weird about it? Just look at it. It's not that very big of a car. It's a pretty small car. That's a muscle car though. But it's the one series of a muscle car that really did not look anything like a muscle car, and it was just so small in comparison to what muscle cars were.
Yep.
But I tell you what, they're unmistakable on the road.
All right, before we go to number 6, anybody getting comments in the chat? Anything going on?
Yeah.
Don't get too
Did
excited.
you say faux X body? And he actually put a space.
Let me
between
guess. This is Steve.
He actually put a space between the FO and the X. So it's faux X
Right.
body.
Because it's not true. Steve, I completely agree with you. This is not truly a Fox body.
Don talked about the F-150 Lightning truck. Yes,
Yep.
93, 94,
It
95.
was. Yep.
First gen Lightning was a badass truck
I
too.
remember that one.
I don't think they put it. We're going to put it on this list because it's this.
It
I
has
feel
to
like
be.
that is up there in a sense with that Cyclone.
Yeah. You know what?
But
Because
the difference is
they're
the
both
the
GM.
Cyclone was a mid-size truck or a compact, wasn't
yeah.
it?
Well, so was the Lightning.
But the Lightning was an F-150. It was a full-size truck.
Yeah, but the F-150s back then weren't the size they are today. I mean,
Granted, but the Cyclone was still smaller, so it was lighter. It was easier for it to go.
I like to see what the
It
weight.
was easier for it to go
Okay, I
boom.
like to see what the weight
So
difference
it was
is.
faster than the Lightning, but the Lightning compared to other full-size trucks fucking blew them away.
All right, Don, look it up for us and put it in the chat. Tell me what the weight differences is between the two.
And let us know what the horsepower difference is as well.
Yeah, I guarantee
I know
the
we can look at
horsepower
them.
is the same. Because it's the same motor.
It's pretty close. What?
It's GM.
Not the Lightning though. That's a Ford.
Oh,
F-150. What were you thinking? Like the SS?
yes.
Oh,
yes, with the SS. Sorry,
this man,
this
guy
all
right here.
All right,
you
all right.
see what I got to deal with? I mean, Jesus.
All right, this one we decided we're going to pass, but I agree it made a mark.
Oh, no,
I'll give it that. It made a
Let me
mark.
rephrase it. It's not a pass. It's a Miata. You know what a Miata is? It's just a car.
It made a mark. And look at
It's-
the body roll on the
Well,
fucking thing.
here's the thing. Because those were made for a long time. So
They were.
I don't really consider it as any real retro icon car. It's just because they're still making it today.
and they don't look
So
much different.
from all along, they keep one thing that has been the same.
yeah,
They've kept it light or lightish. Okay, they've
very
kept
go karty.
They've kept it light. I wouldn't call it that,
No,
but a lot of people say it's a very balanced handling sports car. It is a sports car. Sports cars don't necessarily mean they're fast because a Miata is anything but fast.
true.
I wouldn't call it go karty though.
So it's not that kind of handling.
No, it's just very. So it's like very.
Well, as you can tell by the
it's
picture,
very
I don't know why you'd put that picture up there.
Look at how leaning. Look at that thing leaning.
It's either that as a very heavy guy.
You know, I looked at like video of my Porsche going around a racetrack, thinking, "Hey, I want to see the lean really show me pushing," and it would go around the corner. I'm like, "Dude,
That's
it
pretty
didn't even
flat.
look like I pushed it because
Yeah,
I'm like
it's
flat
fine.
through the
Yeah.
whole damn corner."
Yep. This guy's looks like he's riding on 2 different size tires.
Yeah. He's got a suspension problem. Hold on,
All right,
hold on.
we're gonna-
go,
what?
go,
Oh,
go.
okay, what?
The guy probably weighs like 450 pounds. That's probably why.
I won't go that
it's
far,
just
but
sagging. No, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
not going to go that far. but
you know what?
It looks
I-
like me sitting in the
The
car.
thing is, they are very small. If you're over, I say 5'10" is the max height for you to be able to drive that car.
I think so. You can't be a tall person for sure. It's, I mean, it is a very
Even
small
the modern one today, you still
car. It's
can't
very
be a tall
small.
person.
Yeah,
For sure.
I agree.
But I think there are times where they've looked very, very, very cool.
yeah,
So I'll tell you what. There's another car that's not on this list that I'm going to mention at the same time as this car.
of course you will.
so-
if you say a Porsche,
If you guys don't know what homologation is the rule that a certain classes of race cars have to have a road car too.
correct. In
Okay.
order to be back in the day, you had to have
Right. We're not talking Formula One or
Right,
80's
right.
or whatever the thing
more
is.
the GT line.
Right there, that is a production car made into a race car, but at the same time, if they didn't have one, they had to make one.
That's right.
And so when Mercedes-Benz came out with that race car, the CLK GTR, they literally had to make X amount. At the time, it was like 500 or something. They had to make like at least 500 road-going cars or something like that. That's the road-going car. So basically, that is a fucking race car that somehow they made street legal. And so they can sell it. That way they can race the car.
That's right. Because back then the
Homologated.
rules were different.
That's right.
Because to enter GT, you had to have a street car that could be qualified for the race.
You basically, because
reverse.
they all those race cars had to be a version of a production car.
That's right.
I know there's some differences still between a race car and a
they're going to
thing, blah, blah, blah.
modify it.
But during
Yeah.
that same time, Porsche did the same thing.
Yeah.
And the Porsche
I
came
knew
out.
you were going to get Porsche.
I don't have a picture for you guys, but the Porsche had the 911 GT1.
Yeah. We got the 911 GT2 coming up.
And the very first time they raced those cars at the Le Mans, they came overall second, third place. First and second in their class.
Yeah.
But overall, the whole race, because they raced many different classes, those things proved themselves amazing. But it looked very similar. I mean, besides it wasn't a Mercedes, but it was kind of like that. Very radical looking, very race car looking, but somehow street thing. Now, the Mercedes COK GTR, that was 612 horsepower out of a 6-liter V12. The Porsche 911 GT1 had a 550 horsepower out of the road. This is all the road going ones.
Yeah.
Out of the road going car, but that was out of a flat six turbo. So not a cool ass V12. So if I were to say which one is probably the coolest one, which is probably why the Porsche is not on here, I think the COK GTR, man.
But there is.
Come on, look at that thing.
But okay, yeah, but that was.
All right.
You even know what those went for back then? I mean, that was way out of anybody's price range.
I'll be honest. So in the late 90s, the 911 GT1 was $1 million.
I bet you they sold 30 of them.
Brand new, you had to buy it for $1 million. I can only imagine that was the same.
So they probably sold 30 of them.
I don't know what they made because they had to make so many of them.
Well, that's true.
I don't know what the number they had to make. Maybe 50 was only the number they had to make. I don't know.
Although this one here, that's legendary.
This is going to go into a series of the Japanese sports cars.
Yep.
So you were an import person.
I am.
Were you a Japanese import guy?
I like the 300 for sure. I would say Nissan, Toyota for sure.
Okay. Now, I know there's one that kind of overshadows this car.
This was a badass car when it came out correct.
That also has a Nissan badge on it. But the Z car had been around for a long time.
Yeah.
This body style of the 300ZX, the only one that, technically the one before that was called a ZX2 with the different body, the 300.
Yeah.
The 300, though, was the only one that was titled a ZX instead of just a Z. However, today, I still think that is one of my more favorite body styles of the Z of all the generations.
I hate every version of this car unless it's a twin turbo version of this car.
I agree.
Do not like the stock body. The body you're seeing here, I do not like. Never liked. And if you didn't have the twin turbo, it wasn't shit.
Well, I feel the same way about one of the other cars we're going to talk about too, though.
Yeah, I agree.
But so the 300ZX, that went hand in hand with the Mazda RX-7.
Yep.
Which the Mazda, the rotary engine, all that stuff. It was actually less. So these were all like back when the Japan had that gentleman's agreement that they were 276 horsepower. The RX-7 was the only one that was actually less than that.
Yeah.
But it was also way lighter than the rest.
Way lighter.
Way lighter. The RX-7, it was this, getting to that last gen of the RX-7s here through the 90s. How'd
you like the 300?
Man, I would still today, if it's like, okay, the money just comes in, I have garage to put it and money to put into them, that would be in my arsenal.
But not the stock version.
It would be a twin turbo 300ZX.
Of course. Yeah.
Right. It would be the upper line.
Why would you buy
slightly modified? Like, you know how, back then those were big wheels.
Oh yeah.
That's not big wheels today though.
No.
I would have more modern wheels and tires and brakes. You know how that is.
Yep.
But no, I would have a 300ZX, a 90s 300ZX.
Yeah, I agree.
But I also would probably have a 90s RX-7 too. And I'd probably also have the next two we're going to talk about, which is the Toyota Supra.
And we're not judging this based off of because we know what they're worth today. Those were cars back then.
To be honest,
they were cars to have back then.
The next two we're going to talk about are worth way more than a 300ZX. Yeah. Okay, I'll just give a shout out there. Hey,
I like the MR2.
That's the last gen of the they discontinued it and released it in the 2000s called the MR2 Spider.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Totally different car.
Yeah.
Still mid-engine.
No.
But the 80s had that boxy looking one.
Yep.
Which I still liked, and then they came out with that sucker.
Yeah.
That one, I swear to God, 15 years afterwards, I still look like a new car to me.
Yeah.
It just like the next car we're going to look at, it aged, well, even the 300ZX, actually. It aged.
Again.
The 90s sports cars in Japan aged extremely well, in my opinion.
And again, the turbo version of this is even better looking.
They did do a turbo, but they didn't do very many. They only did it for like a year or two.
It was only, I think it was maybe 2 years.
So that would be another one. I would love to like just do my own version of it.
Yeah.
Do some tuning, do some souping up of that.
Still have offsides tires.
Notice how it's,
the body
it doesn't quite lean as much as a Miata.
Okay, you know what I can tell we came with since the 90s is we've definitely upgraded the suspension on all cars. You get far less body roll.
Well, with that said, though,
and understeer.
The Miata was not a very expensive car. The MR2 technically isn't. Now, this next one was an expensive car.
That was my baby. I had one.
There you go. Your Mark IV Supra, man.
I did. I had a Mark III 89
how about
Mark
this?
III Turbo, and then I had a 90.
You had go through. What was your
90,
first one?
I had a 89 Turbo. Loved it. That thing was gorgeous. And then I had a 93 non-turbo, but it did have the wing on the back. But that was an aftermarket.
That's fucking.
You had to add
You had a Mark IV without a turbo.
Yeah, without it.
I bet you were pissed.
But I did drive. I couldn't afford it.
Oh, someone mentioned. Okay, here we go. Pause. First gen Lightning.
Yeah. What's
Wow.
the difference?
Hold on.
Don's going into details.
Lightning. See, the Lightning had a 351 in it, so there's a V8, obviously. Now later on,
Really?
now we're talking first gen Lightnings. They still had the square body.
Yeah.
Or it had a square front end, I should say. The later Lightnings in the was it late 90s? Yeah, late 90s. There was a supercharged V8. That was, I know that for sure. That was 385 horsepower. On the late 90s, like the rounded, more F-150 style.
Yeah.
But this one, 240 horsepower.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It's a guzzler.
But that was good horsepower. But yet at the same time, that's not.
But it was.
And
fast.
we're talking early 90s though.
So I'm guessing the 0-60 was probably 7 seconds ish.
I bet it was
stock.
I bet it was more than that because it's a full size truck.
I don't know. My Dodge Charger Shelby I had in 88 or 86.
Did you get smoked by lightning?
No, I killed Mustangs.
But
no.
But
it was
this is the F-150.
Yeah, I know. No, what I'm saying is I'm guessing the 0-60 is in the 7 range. It won't be quicker than that. I guarantee.
I bet it's worse because the Cyclone was. So hey, someone look up the Cyclone. What is it?
Yeah,
I can look it up. But,
come on, Don. Do your job, producer.
Well, Steven gave us that information.
All right,
Don. I don't know what you're doing. GMC was a baby pickup truck like the S10. That's right. I know they're not in the same category, but we're still talking.
Yeah, because I thought they were built off the S10, the Lightning.
It was no, that's a Ford. The Ford's built off the F-150. The Lightning's built off the F-150. The Cyclone is built off the GMC version of what the S10 would have been for Chevrolet.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense?
Gotcha.
Okay.
You got to realize we've been running nonstop.
They're not in the same category, but at the same time, they're still trucks.
Yeah,
it's whatever.
And let's get back to Toyota.
Yeah, the second gen was 360. I thought it was 385. I guess I was wrong on that one, wasn't I?
That's all right. Anyway, back to Toyota.
360 is better than 240 though. Man.
Yeah.
That right there. That's the car that single-handedly made me say Toyota is the best fucking manufacturing of cars in Japan. Now, with that said, that's also the last gen of a Toyota Supra.
Right. That's right. Yep.
I know what you guys are thinking. Yep. There's a Supra nowadays.
Yeah, well,
it's not built by Toyota, though.
BMW.
Anyways, Lightning had a 351, same motor as the 351R in the Mustang. Oh, okay. That's cool.
This was so, and it's still legendary today, to be honest.
Pause on that one too. So yes, okay. No. You can leave it there. We're going to see it there.
All right.
Also, the 300ZX, the RX-7, which will pop up here in a second, the Supra. But there also was another Nissan, which was crazy to me that Nissan had two of these high-ass performance cars. Yeah. And that was the Skyline.
Yeah. Which is coming.
The R32 that came out.
It is coming.
In the early 90s. That literally just I apologize for the phrase, raped the shit out of everybody else.
Yeah, but you couldn't get them in the States.
On a racetrack. Unfortunately, worldwide,
couldn't get them.
Only sold in Japan.
That's right.
Which made it more desirable to a lot of people. Which we can see nowadays because of the 25-year rule.
And we are lucky now that that rule is passed.
That rule's on there.
I mean, people didn't mind paying the expense to bring them in, and
also through the 90s, the 33 came out, the 34, the very very late part of it.
Yep.
which was like
our good friends,
the one
the
one that Paul Walker had in the movies and all that stuff, the R34. But awesome stuff. But how about this, Chris? Is okay, Skyline, any of the Skylines that were produced in the 90s, the Mark IV Supra, I mean, I'm talking top trims of all of them. Bone stock. Top trims of all of them. The 300ZX, the RX-7,
the Supra.
Would you still take the Supra over all of them?
Hands down. If you got a twin turbo Supra, you were smoking everything.
Except for a Skyline.
I don't think so. I think you were smoking a Skyline.
The Skyline, the thing is, the difference is the Skylines were all-wheel drive. So it had
because it's built around.
It had a better launch.
Okay.
But we're also forgetting one car that's not in here. It's not on this list that we're talking about, but I want to throw it out there: the Mitsubishi 3000 GT.
Which
in Japan it was called the GTO,
which I love too.
That also was a technologically like advanced car.
A lot of that technology went into cars after it. The four-wheel
and
steering.
We'll obviously talk about Mitsubishi about another car for some reason that made the list over this one, but that's okay.
Yeah. But the Impreza, Subaru. I mean, it's still a thing.
I'm not against you, man. The Supra is a solid pick.
Yeah.
But you got to think, if someone came up to me and had all these cars in mint condition at their toppest trim.
Which would I pick?
Dude, I would take any one of them.
No, I would only take one. I'm sorry.
I would take any one of them.
I wouldn't even, based on today, I would still go with the Toyota Supra.
I mean, if you want to talk about America, you almost can't count the Skyline. If you're talking about only sold cars here.
Even if they're sold today, I would still take the Supra.
Yeah.
I just would. I don't know.
Well, then you need to get your Supra. I'll get a Skyline, and then we'll go to town.
All right. We'll reach out
to
the Caldwells. They own all of them.
Hold on. If I can't afford a Skyline, maybe a fairly decent, nice twin-turbo 300ZX.
It'd be nice. But the Imprezas, they were great. They did great on rally.
So, this goes into... We talked about Group B rallying a long time ago.
We did.
Now, this is beyond that because they had already canceled the Group B.
Group CD, whatever
So, you're talking like there are two cars that dominated the shit
out of rally racing.
The Impreza 22B was one of them.
Yep.
And that, still today, is my favorite body style.
Yep.
I agree. We didn't get a cool version of that in the States. We got it, but we didn't get the coolest version.
Yeah, that's cool. You're right.
We didn't
We didn't
get like an STI version of that car.
That's right.
Okay. I know it says, what does it say? 275 horsepower?
Yeah.
That was a lot for that. That technically had as much horsepower as your Supra twin turbo.
Yeah.
In Japan. In America, that Supra had closer to 320.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have gentlemen's agreements here in the old States.
No, we don't.
They don't have to be limited to 276 horsepower.
I don't want gentleman contract. I want. Here you go.
The problem is,
all right, you guys pay attention for an hour.
I won't get into this. That's a Carrera RS. Guess what? Badass.
Yeah.
That's
all right. Let's move on.
RS was just awesome. I want to get into
ugly.
I was going to say something, but I'm not going to now.
Ugly.
No.
Ugly car.
That car
ugly
is and always will be. That's the worst color they've ever came out with. The blue one's the best. That is
still ugly. I'm sorry.
Is a badass car.
How big of mirrors do you need on that fucking car?
Those aren't any bigger than the ones on your Audi.
They are so. Look at it.
They're sticking up because you sit so into the car. They had to kind of sit up so you can see. I mean, look at how wide that quarter panel is. You got to be able to get around.
It's like, you know what they tried to do? Here's my interpretation of this car as a designer. They went, okay, let's pay all the attention to the front, behind the windows, and then, you know what? We're running out of time. Throw something on it.
Dude.
And that's the back end.
It is a 90s Bugatti supercar. No.
Don't care.
Hypercar.
Ugly as shit.
You want to know why it's a hypercar?
They sold 2 of them.
Because when it came out, it was the world's fastest car.
Okay, but there's a difference. And I'm sure everybody listening will agree. There is a difference between just having the fastest car versus something that looks good as well. Yes, if you're taking it to a track, yes, you want the fastest. I get that. But if this is a street car. Are you driving around with something that looks stupid? Would you drive around in a Pontiac Aztek if it was the fastest car?
Not a hypercar.
It doesn't matter. If it was as fast, would you drive it?
Thank God they didn't make it as fast.
But if they did,
But it's not a
That-
car.
that to
That
me
was
is the
like
Pontiac
a fucking
Aztec.
van, basically.
That's the Pontiac Aztec right there.
No, it's not. You son
is.
of a bitch.
No,
that's probably
that's
not. Let me rephrase this.
That's stupid.
That's probably not the best angle. We need to see some more angles of that car.
Okay, well,
Oh,
we're
hold
not.
on. No, we're leaving it on there. So this is a series of a couple cars that have come out.
Okay.
All right. Before this car, which we'll get to, was the Jaguar XJ220. Okay. That came out. That came out before this car.
Yep.
The Jaguar XJ220 was supposed to be a V12.
Right.
It didn't quite make it.
Right. Why? Emissions?
No, more of a manufacturing issue. They thought Jaguar was like, hey, we're going to make this V12 for this fucking badass super hypercar thing. And people were pre-ordering it like a motherfucker thinking, man, this is the V12 Jag.
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
This is
Yeah,
gonna
you gotta
be
have it.
badass.
Gotta have.
Last second, they couldn't make it work. So they swapped it with a different engine. A 3.5 liter V6 with 2 turbos.
Still quick
But
as shit, though.
produced the same horsepower they said the V12 would do at 500 and about 50 horsepower.
Okay.
The car did 217 miles an hour. World's fastest car. Extremely short-lived when that one came out.
Yeah.
But here's the funny thing is, that's a 12-cylinder like the Jaguar said it was going to be. How many turbos does that say? 4?
You asking
V12.
me? 4 turbos.
4 turbos, and the car only had 10 more horsepower than the Jag.
Still stupid.
But you know what
I don't
those 10
care how
horsepower
fast it
did?
is.
It gave it 1 more mile per hour on the top end, and it got it to 218 mile an hour. Took the fucking world record from the Jag. And by the way, they're actually the numbers aren't funny. That's the EB110.
Yeah, yeah.
And because Jag knew that EB110 was coming out, so they doubled the number and called it a 220. That actually, there's a
marketing.
reason why the numbers
Great
were the way they
marketing.
are.
And they designed it better.
Now, the EB110 was the reason why that was called a 110, but the Jaguar, the only reason why that was called a 220, because it was twice the number of 110.
And it looks twice as good.
I actually do think the Jag looks better.
Of course it does. That's
But
stupid.
you're not looking at this at the
I do look
the
at
angles.
this. This looks like a
My-
300 ZX with a bad body on it.
You know what? Your face looks like it has a bad body on
Okay,
it.
this one, I heard of the car, never seen one
You
of
know
these
what?
on the road.
You won't. A Z1, but the funny thing is...
No, I see Z1s. I don't see this version of a Z1.
No, you don't do Z1. You're thinking Z3s and stuff.
Yep, sorry.
So this was the beginning of that Z car.
My bad.
But as you can see right here, it wasn't really a high performance car, but it was the design. Look at the
no, but
door.
look what they call out. It looks best in red.
Look at and then they put a black one out there because that makes sense. But look at the door actually went into the body, like you would.
Oh, it's a slider.
All right in the fucking thing, and
sure
it's
that-
convertible.
I'm sure that paint held up well.
The seat looks pretty cool too. Look at that. That looks kind of neat. It's probably comfortable. I don't know.
You know what? Everything looks great
you know-
from
you know
the
what's great?
steering wheel forward.
You know how BMW has their certain image they have on the grill, right? They look like they really forced it on that one. They're like, oh
Yeah.
shit, we forgot we don't have room for that iconic look, so they just tacked it in there.
These two little, I don't know
All
what,
right,
what
we got an update from the audience here.
All right, what's up?
So the Lightning 7.2 0-60.
Yeah, like
So
I said,
7
I think
seconds.
it was, yeah,
you were
I
good. You're
figured
good.
it was.
The Cyclone did it in 4.3.
Okay, that's super fucking
That's
quick.
fucking fast as shit.
Yeah,
That's fast car today.
yeah, that's super fast.
That's
today.
faster than my Porsche right now.
That's faster than my Audi.
So if someone come race me with a Cyclone and beat my ass because you're going to beat my Porsche. But that's fucked up that's 4.3. So the Cyclone was 280 horsepower.
So let me tell you, my Audi has 450 stock, and it's a 4.8 0-60.
That's 4.8?
4.8.
Oh, okay. We got weights though. The Cyclone only weighed 3,600 pounds.
Mine's 42.
And the Lightning was 4,300 pounds. So that's why that Lightning was that much slower.
Pretty big difference.
That is a pretty big difference.
Or if they can even put the power to the wheels.
So you're talking, even with your car, that's an 800-pound difference. I wonder what the horsepower to
but
weight ratio would be.
still,
Difference.
I'm still 100 horse more.
But was that Cyclone all-wheel drive as well?
I don't know.
I think it was. I think it was four-wheel drive. Like, that's why it launched so good. I mean, the Audi should too, but,
well, the Audi's all-wheel drive.
You're
which is
talking
why the
like
weight's
ridiculous
there,
early 90s, not much going on, and just fucking they threw boost into it.
but I still want one.
and it boosted.
All right.
It may have only created 280 horsepower, but it did it right.
Hey, you know what? Fuck my Supra. I want the Cyclone with the S.
Fine, I'll buy your Supra and I'll take your Supra, I suppose.
All right, this one I love. I mean, I don't want to skip over it, but that's
well,
ugly
we
and
talked about
stupid.
the M3, the M cars. They came out in the 80s. We did talk about that on the last ordeal. But this was a little bit different.
It is. My buddy had one.
Not only was it a different generation, so it's a different. It's the E36, which is a very popular.
Yeah, body style.
Popular. Actually, you know what? I think it's still my favorite looking one too. Actually,
It's a pretty good looking car.
it is.
Yeah, my buddy had the exact same thing, but it was yellow with the same kind of
Cyclones. They said they were all-wheel drive, by the way.
Oh, well, there you go.
So that's part of why they launched so damn much.
But I
Anyway,
did like
so
the
yes.
M3s.
M3s. And that was just furthering on the M3 thing and making them like nowadays the M3s are so fat and fucking, but they're still really fast.
I think back then they kind of went with more of a stripped down interior, so they didn't have to put so much into the weight of it and the comfort of it. Whereas today they're trying to do both.
I think today the tech is there so well with being able to create horsepower and transmissions that they just don't really care about the weight as much.
Anymore. Yeah,
because that way they can give you the luxury and the big fat
what do you
things, all the safety stuff. That I bet is very stripped out of all of its safety gear.
I bet you the drag and repeat guys can tell us if you strip it out, it'll run faster. Right? How many drag cars have a full luxury interior?
I thought they all did.
Oh, well, apparently you haven't been on track long enough.
No, none of them do, obviously. And that goes right there. That goes along with our Subaru.
Oh, well, that's, you know what? This is Paul Walker's 5 M3, or his version of this car.
Okay.
Sold for $1.3 million.
Oh, that's it?
Because he owned it.
Well,
I don't put that much value in somebody's
BMW.
name. This one we talked about.
Yeah, so that right there, you got that Subaru, that 22B Impreza, and the Lancer, that's the Evo 6.
Yep.
Both bad ass all-wheel drive, highly turboed 4-cylinder cars. That was a 2-liter. I think the Subaru was a 2.5-liter or something like that.
Yeah, my buddy had one of these, and it was all blue, and it was. Do you remember back then? It was because I was looking back then. I was looking at an Evo or a WRX STI, comparing them both side by side, and this one just, even though it was a 4-door, blew my mind.
Remember the Top Gear? Now it wasn't a 6. It was you're talking like an Evo, like 8 or 9 or something like that.
Yeah. They changed
or
after
maybe it was
this,
a 7. Remember they took one that somebody highly tuned.
Yeah.
And they raced it against it was either Lamborghini Gallardo or Murcielago. It was one of those.
Yeah.
And it beat it around their Top Gear track.
Oh, I believe it.
And it wasn't a stock one, obviously.
They were great cars.
But they were just trying to show you the capability of what these cars could do.
Yeah. And you don't see these much. Anybody that goes to car shows, you don't see a lot of these.
How many did you see when they were being sold as new? I mean, I saw Subarus.
They were pricey.
But I didn't see a lot of those.
Yeah. Because that was the comparison I was going through was, well, I can get the WRX STI for like 10 grand less. Wasn't much difference, but 10 grand back then was a lot of money.
And I hate to say it, the Subaru,
that was 2001.
The Subaru interior was probably better.
Yeah.
Like the Mitsubishi Evo, I've been in them, and they just look like a basic economy car interior.
They do. They're
what they are.
They're a Lancer.
Yeah, that's what they are.
Yeah, they just upgraded suspension.
But the Impreza
engine,
interior was
transmission.
just a little bit better.
Everything but interior.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it looks, you know what? If you look at it, it looks cool.
There you go.
All right.
80s, we went with the F40.
F40 was the big bad boy.
That's right.
This is
everybody had it on their wall.
This is the successor to the F40.
I don't know anybody that had this on their wall.
Is the F50. But what people don't realize is this was made in less numbers than the F40. If you went to a Barrett Jackson today, that would cost you more money than an F40. But look at the little details on here. So the F40 was a twin turbo V8.
The big ugly back end.
Twin turbo V8. That's a V12.
Okay. Well, yeah.
That's a V12.
Hey, did you know it's bolted directly to the chassis?
That's got 4 more cylinders than the F40. The same.
It's uglier.
There's no turbos, though.
It's uglier. Hey, this again goes to that Bugatti.
Just like your Bugatti, that is a matter
it's
of
stupid.
opinion.
Everything up to the driver's back window looks great. Everything behind him looks stupid.
So Don says his Mach 1 is 4.1 to 60. He's got the newer, like the
Yeah.
What year is your Mach 1?
Don, what's that got to do with the 90s, man?
He was comparing it to the Cyclone at 4.3. His Mach 1, his 400
okay. Yeah.
and what 60, 70, 80 horsepower, whatever, 75, I think 475 horsepower, whatever, Mustang is only 0.2 seconds faster than the Cyclone.
Yeah. That's crazy. But what's the weight difference though?
Like 30 years later.
Yeah, but
almost.
what's the weight difference?
A Mach 1's a little bit more, a few hundred pounds more. A Mach 1 probably weighs 3,900 pounds.
Less than 4. So you're in the 3 range. Everything's in the 3 range.
It's close to 4,000, bro. 3,900 probably.
Yeah, forget
his,
the F50.
His a 21. So
There's
you
a
got
reason why that wasn't as popular.
His 2021, which don't get me wrong, I think ultimately, if you're on a highway even and gunned it, I'm sure you would dust a Cyclone at this point.
Yeah. That's a launch.
We're just talking like a
truck.
launch all-wheel drive to a rear-wheel drive, 400 and whatever horsepower.
Yeah.
I get it, but still, when you just look at numbers, God, that was impressive what that truck did.
It was. You think I would have put that motor in everything. If I was GM,
it's kind of like Buick with the.
I bet you that's faster than the Corvettes they were putting out back then.
With the Grand National, maybe they should have just put that 3.8 turbo in everything.
That's right.
Actually, isn't that what the Cyclone was?
It might have been.
I don't know.
Wink, wink. All right, yeah, that's why the F50 wasn't that popular.
No, you know what? Matter of opinion.
We're moving on.
Matter of opinion. Guys, what do you think? F40 or F50? You know what? Don't even answer. The F40 looks better.
Exactly, it does. This is like a whale.
That looked more wicked hyper looking. Like the Bugatti was a hypercar. The F40 just straight looked like a super bad motherfucking car, race car.
F40
Matter
looked
of
like
opinion.
a G car.
Opinion. Okay. There are some other Ferraris on this list, but we'll deal with them as we get to it.
There you go. All right. Ford. Back to Ford.
Man, this is basically one of those homologation rules.
I know
again.
we're running late, but we don't care at this point.
Don't worry about it. We only got 17 more cars to go through. No, I'm just kidding. I tell you what, this is the same thing. This is a homologation type of thing.
Yep.
But Ford got together with Cosworth. If you guys don't know who Cosworth is, you're just going to have to Google it because I'm not going through the history with that right now.
Racing.
But they developed that engine that's in that. That is an Escort RS Cosworth. I think that was upper 200s of horsepower.
Yeah.
Once again, we're looking at when you're getting to that kind of power back then, that was in a small little car. I think it was even all-wheel drive.
Yep.
That spoiler was how the fucking rally car looked too. I mean, they kind of kept it. But look at that. Look at those fenders. Fenders flared out.
I loved it.
Look, I got to see one in person last year. There's a video out there. I did a little video short, this small little video. It kind of blew up. It got a shit ton of fucking views. Guys, if you're subscribed to the channel, you've probably already seen it. If you're not, subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And go back and look, and you can find that video. It was a silver one. I wish it was a green one like that because that looks awesome.
The green looks great.
That looks awesome.
Shows the body.
I like that a lot. But the silver one was cool too. However, that's like a picture of it when it was new. This one was a picture when it wasn't. But
great car.
Cosworth built inline 4-cylinder turbo. Man, that thing. You could take the 4-cylinder turbo little cars nowadays, and you still fucking go out and you guys aren't getting away from me with that in that car.
Yeah,
that car would still hang with him.
Yeah,
that car would hang with my GTI. It'd hang with the Focus RSs today.
Motor probably wouldn't last as long.
I don't know, man. It's Cosworth built. No. It's Cosworth built.
Well, okay. Yeah, okay. I get that.
I hate to say it. It's not Ford built.
Yeah, but they only had the tools that they had back then as well.
That's like a 16 valve. That's like a dude.
All right. Well.
Dude, Cosworth helped build.
Oh, I know.
Okay, I won't even get into it.
They're racing.
Even to this day, they built a 12-cylinder for the guy, for Gordon Murray in his latest cars.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to Gordon Murray later because he helped develop one of the last cars we're probably going to talk about.
All right. Well, let's move forward.
Anyways, go ahead.
Legendary.
Okay, there it is. Mazda RX-7. Cool.
Twin
turbo, rotary.
That is probably the only car I would take over the twin turbo Supra. I would probably.
Hold on. I don't think you would take it over, but you would take it as an alternative. The Supra wasn't available.
I don't know. Well, yeah. I'm just saying.
Not over the Supra.
If you put Supra next to this, I would probably take the Mazda, the twin turbo version.
I don't see. The thing is they had better handling. I think.
Well, of course.
You go on a straightaway. You go on a straightaway.
Yeah,
the Supra's going to pull away from it, but it's those back corners. I think you'll have more fun with that car.
Of course. Yeah. The weight difference is
a little smaller,
a lot.
Lightweight, a little less horsepower, but twin turbo rotary. A lot of people say they got issues. They got your head gaskets are going to be replaced all the time, but it's fine. It's fine.
It's a good
car. Who cares?
Still a popular car. You still see more of these than you do the Lancer.
So, I mean, I love that in the 90s. Man, we had the RX-7, the Mitsubishi 3000 GT, the Toyota Supra.
Everybody was pushing
the fucking. I mean, I'm not even talking about the Skyline. That's not sold here. The 300ZX. I mean, come on. We had some amazing
90s
Japanese,
cars were pretty badass cars.
90s sports cars, man.
They were. They were. And of course, now we get the Italians, but nobody's buying this.
We just want to bring that up. I know it's another Ferrari, but it's okay. Remember we talked about that? For the most part, if it's a V12, most of the V12 Ferraris were front engine.
That's right.
Because the mid-engine ones were V8s.
Yeah.
The Testarossa was...
You can't put that much motor behind
you. The Testarossa was like a weird car because they made that a V12.
Kind of more of a concept.
That was kind of like, as American kind of design, we needed it to be a V12. They really had to try to make that work being a mid-engine, blah, blah, blah. I know what you're saying. Lamborghini does V12s in mid-engine all the time. But we're not talking about Lamborghini. We're talking about Ferrari. They try to make their cars smaller.
Lamborghini's not on the list.
Granted, I know the F50 was a V12, but that's a specialty car. We're not talking about those specialty cars. We're talking about like the mainstream.
Lamborghinis were the 80s cars. Those were the cars we wanted back then, the Countach and stuff.
But I think we got another. But anyways, here, no, hold on.
What this one?
No. Yeah, fuck that. V12, but the last V12 that you could get front engine V12 from Ferrari, that was a manual. That's special.
And gated.
Well, they're all their fucking manuals. All their manuals were gated. Just like Ferrari.
I don't like gated.
I think it's overrated. It looks cool.
I do too.
It looks cool, but I don't think it really makes that big a difference.
I think they put it in the world of if you can drive it gated, you're a driver.
You know why
you can hit the hit the poles right.
No. You know why they make them gated? So you don't fuck up. Because it forces you have to do it. So if you don't have a gated one, that just means you know what the hell you're doing.
Unless you just drop it in the wrong
You know what
gate.
you're doing.
There you go.
All right.
All right. Volvo X90.
I will fucking punch you.
I did love this body style.
It was so cool.
There was a movie, and if somebody can look it up, there was a movie that this car was featured in that made me fall in love with this car. And it wasn't built around like an action film. It was, man, something keeps telling me it was like a vampire film where the vampire guy was driving it. Something like anyway.
You done lost me.
I know. Anyway, great car. Great body style.
Was a vampire in Brooklyn? No, I'm kidding.
Still love that body style.
No, you know what a lot of people don't realize, though? That's an M car.
Yeah, they just didn't brand it.
But they didn't brand it as an M car, and it fucked them over because they didn't sell it well because of that.
Yep.
Now, here's the other thing that you guys don't realize. That's a V12 in that car. That's a naturally aspirated V12. That says 370. The earlier ones were lower 300s, about 300 maybe horsepower. And then eventually they got up to about that version of the 375. That's the V12 block that they use in a car that we're going to talk about later. We'll get to that. There's the XJ 220. Look at that car, though.
Good friend Brian Huff has one.
Look at that. He needs an EB 110.
How's that? No. He does not. This blow, even though I'll tell you this.
Look at that car.
Even though this ass looks extra long, which we know why they did it.
Oh, the whole car is like, that's super long car. Yeah. Even today's standard, I think it's a long car.
It's a long, but everything is like spread out. It's not like.
It's mid-engine.
Yeah.
It's badass.
Yeah.
It has, once again, a style that aged extremely well.
Yeah. Yeah. Still looks sexy.
That's a hybrid car right there for you for the 90s. But you know what? It was the world's fastest at one point to become one of the world's fastest. Then less than a year later, eventually being extremely beat out by a different car. We'll talk later.
Yep. And before we move forward, you guys, go back and just check out greatest cars on Road and Track. Go into the details. Obviously, you can read about it for all these cars.
Oh,
they got a lot of details.
Did I already talk about that? Yeah, it was supposed to be a V12.
Yeah,
it was in a V12. Here's the messed up thing.
Your car. You're still
Here's the messed up thing. So remember what it did in horsepower, like around the 550 with the 3.5 V6 twin turbo. The Bugatti did a 4 turbo V12. You know how big that V12 was in the Bugatti? A 3.5 liter. The same liter that V6 was.
They just put a lot of
It just had twice the cylinders, so smaller cylinders.
Yeah.
But also two more turbochargers just to get 10
Do you
more.
think they did that just to make it a V12?
Just to get 10 more horsepower. Guess what? The Bugatti sold more. We don't know why.
How?
Because people said, I want a V12 over a V6.
Fat chicks.
Sure.
Maybe.
Sure.
Probably.
We'll do that. Anyways, okay.
All right, here's your car.
Throw that over there.
Here's your car.
Hey, the very first, which has started a lot of lines of the Porsche GT cars, there's the GT2 right there. That's the first one ever produced in the 90s. I don't remember the horsepower on it, but you know what? Who cares?
That's right.
It was bad. Now, that was based on the turbo. So that is a turbocharged 911 GT2, which means that just is that much faster than
GT?
a turbo. You take a 911 turbo, and then you take a GT2 turbo, or you take a GT2, which is a 911 turbo on steroids, and it fucks it up.
So a 20-year-old bought this
And it's
same
only-
version for
it's only-
$2.4 million.
And my understanding, the GT2s are only rear-wheel drive. Like from the 996 and up, all the 911 turbos have been all-wheel drive, but the GT2s are only rear-wheel drive. Because it makes them lighter.
Another ugly
There you
ass
go,
car.
man. You
Ugly
said
ass
Lamborghini's only about the fucking 80s. Look
Ugly
at that.
car.
Man, the Diablo was a motherfucker.
Ugly.
No, seriously, if there was a mother around, it would probably mount it.
Ugly.
You're
Everything from the hood scoop
No.
or the roof scoop back
No.
is shit.
No.
Yeah.
That car is an icon.
Okay. I don't think so.
Icon.
I take a Countach.
It looks better than a Countach.
I don't think so. No, hell no.
Did the Countach have more pictures of the wall? Yeah, because that was so fucking thing. It was so different for its time.
It's sexier than
You got to
this.
think that's competing with the XJ, the XJ220, the EB110.
Ugly.
You know, another
ugly.
car that we're about to
I
talk
get it.
about.
It's the
and all
ugly
this other
girls.
stuff. And then you have the Diablo, man.
Yeah.
V12. Bad. I mean, you know what? You hit a button, there's fucking like rockets come out and start shooting shit and machine guns.
Stupid.
I might be making that part up.
It's stupid.
But it doesn't matter. The Diablo was a great successor.
They stole the roof scoop off the Toyota MR2.
Still badass. Next thing you're going to tell me is the headlights came off of a 3000 or 300 GT or
Probably did.
300 ZX.
Probably did.
Actually,
I
you know
don't
what?
like it.
Actually, you know what?
Never liked it.
That's where the headlights came off the EB110.
All right.
They were
All right, now we're into American cars. Let's go American.
Yeah, someone said earlier on that the Viper needs to be on this list. It is on this list.
It is. You
Because-
know, I agree with you, and I don't think the numbers are correct.
Because
I think they're just listing
the
cars.
Viper. Yes, thank you.
I
Thank
know.
you.
I know
The
when
Viper,
to call it out.
they come out for its first time in the 90s, and there it goes.
Yep.
Pretty awesome. Fucking V10. Not just a V10, man. Look at that. Was the first one was an 8
Oh,
liter.
That's a big ass.
And then
motor.
each generation that came out, it was an 8.2, an 8.4.
Yeah.
You know, they just increased.
Yeah.
That's a big V10. That's a big
Sexy
V10.
car though.
You know what's crazy?
I don't mind I think my thing around cars is I don't mind the front end being long. It's the back end I don't like being long.
That was.
I like everything kind of being snug.
Dude, that was just a good looking, sexy car. But
It was.
You know who helped develop that, right?
Yeah. Well,
Carroll Shelby.
Yep.
So, hey, go back.
No, what are you doing?
That's why it's called a Viper, because Shelby invented the Cobra, and he has this thing with snakes.
Oh, is that what it was?
And because he couldn't use Cobra, obviously, so he used Viper for this snake on this car right here, and that's it. That's it. Did you know? How about this? You know, the first gen didn't have a roof.
No, it was
first
just open.
The very first gen Viper
target top.
didn't even have a roof or a window that
it was
rolled up.
target top.
You had to mount some last minute thing. They had to mount some like canvas
Yep.
top and some thing
Yep.
you had to
Had
plug
to
in for like a plastic windows
Yep.
and stuff.
Yep.
Yep.
I remember that.
And then they went, maybe we should put an actual roof on it and windows that roll up. And then there you go. That's where you got that one.
All right, now the Ferrari. Yeah. This one's okay.
They just say, you know, it's a naturally aspirated V8, and then Ferrari doesn't make those anymore. They're all turbo V8s.
Yep.
So they say that the naturally aspirated V8s just have a much better sound.
what do you think the RPM was in this car?
8 to
Red line.
9,000.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Had to be.
Yep. Because
Had to be.
that's a flat plane crank V8.
Yep.
And the flat plane crank V8s, unlike a cross plane V8, like a lot of our ones in America, they make their horsepower really, really high RPMs.
Which is like my Audi.
Sure.
Yeah. There you go.
Sure. We'll go with that.
All right,
We talked
fine.
about that one already. There's the R32. Obviously, the 33 came on the 90s as well. And before the 90s was up, the 34 also came out as well. Yeah, it actually says it right there. But there you go. Badass. If you guys don't really know,
I bet you if I click on this button that says full buyer's guide, Jeff Jeff's face will pop up.
It might, but if you guys didn't already know that when the Skyline, the R32 came out, it created a new a GT racing class at its time.
That's right.
And it basically won the 50 races in a row. The first 50 it was in, it dusted everybody.
Crazy.
It literally got pretty much kicked out of its own racing class.
Because it was too good.
Because it beat everybody all the time.
Yeah, it was too good.
That's why it was bad. Here's the other reason why I think that is a better car than a... Why do I think a Skyline is a better car than a Supra? What do you think? So remember, what's the Supra known for? What's the engine?
2JZ. Yeah, 2JZ.
Okay, it's inline 2JZ 6-cylinder, right?
Yep.
That one's got the RB26 inline 6-cylinder. Okay, 2.6 liter as opposed to what's the 2JZ is a 3 liter.
Yeah, I think it's a 3.0 or a 3. Yeah, I think it's 3.0. 3.0. Okay. Yeah.
All right. The race car version, the one that kicked everybody's fucking ass, was an RB26. Was this straight 6 blam? The Toyota Supra also raced in all these GT classes too. It did not race with the 2JZ. It raced with a 2-liter, very highly turbo 4-cylinder. It was still a very good car, and it did good in its racing for what it did.
But not based off of the engine.
The RB26 is race proven. The 2JZ is not. That's what makes me respect the Skyline over the Supra.
Yeah, well.
All right. Last but not least, guys, on the list here, this is what I want to talk about. Jaguar XJ220 was the world's fastest car, being beat by the the Bugatti EB110.
Of the fucking ugly car.
And then
this could be 100 miles an hour
being
slower,
fucking smoked a few years later by the McLaren F1. That's a Gordon Murray car right there that we were talking about.
Yeah, that's gorgeous.
Partnered with McLaren and BMW, because the BMW V12 out of there is the block that came out of the 850i. So the V12 that came out of that car.
Yeah. Which they should have made an M car.
Slightly redone, though. Yeah, right. They should have made an M car out of that. They should have at least badged it M, because that's what it was. But, man, look at that. Look at the doors. Did you guys, if you guys don't know anything about it, you know it seats 3, right? Because you sit in the middle. You drive in the middle of the car.
Oh, and there's 2 back seats.
And your passenger seats are next to you, just slightly behind you.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
That's very, very unique. That's a Gordon Murray thing, because ideally you're driving it, you need to be center focused with the car, and it doesn't disrupt the balance of it.
That makes sense. Yep.
That car was amazing. That car maintained the world's fastest car until the Bugatti Veyron came out.
Wow. Okay.
For a long time. I think it was like 240 miles an hour. Here's the thing. That car did that with only 627 horsepower.
Right, click on this link, see what pops up.
627 horsepower. That car is
perfect
gorgeous.
Supercar. Hey, you stole the word.
That would be
gorgeous.
That would be right there. Not just the greatest 90s. That's probably the greatest of all times.
Oh, there you go. Center.
There it is. Yeah, see the 2 seats right there?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah, it's awesome. We highly recommend you guys go into Road and Track and look at them.
If you ever get to see like all the gold in the engine bay, that actually is 24 karat gold. It's leafing that's put in there for heat distribution.
Okay. I don't have that kind of money.
It's crazy. But that also was like $1 million car when it came out.
We could have that kind of money.
But it still looks good today, don't you think?
It does.
All right. Guys, we ran a little bit long.
Just a
than we normally do. Actually, you know what? It doesn't really matter. We can go 5 hours. What does it really matter? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're not on any time constraints. We got that kind of money.
Absolutely. Let's see. What do we got? The GT2 had 430 horsepower. That was a lot. That first GT that came out?
Yeah.
That's a lot. That's a lot of horsepower for that time. Because you got to think.
Light car. I think it was probably just
over that
ZR1.
You know, that ZR1.
That's heavy.
At its prime, its last year, it hit 400 horsepower.
Yeah.
Out of that 32 valve V8, you know what I mean? So it hit 430 out of a probably lighter car is my guess. I know the Malibu did not make the 90s. I get it, guys. It's okay. No BFF. I'm sorry. There's no Vector. There's no Vector V8 or W8s. The Vector wasn't on the list.
Oh.
But it was cool. You got a picture? Want to try to see?
No, I don't. So just keep talking.
Oops, that guy. Seriously. All right. But what do you guys think of the list, man? I mean, you got some other ones? Put it in the comments. Not just even this chat. Put in the comments below. And remember, we are looking for the list of the. I mean, we're still ongoing. The dumbest cars ever made
of all time,
ever.
Yep.
Do you think the 1890s electric cars or the early steam cars are the dumbest? Then put those in the list.
That's right.
They probably weren't the dumbest though.
They
just because
were.
They set the
They probably were dumb.
You're dumb. Anyways, I mean, what was it for you? Was it a Cybertruck? Was it an Aztec? Was it a Fox body? I'm just kidding, Steven.
You never know.
That wasn't it. Anyways, let us know in the comments below on that stuff, and look for posts on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you're following us on those, so you can look for posts for possible dumbest lists and stuff. We're gonna as we see things getting in the comments, we're gonna start putting this list together. As we get a good list, we're going to do a show dedicated to the dumbest cars.
Yeah, we have a lot of stuff coming up. We recorded a lot over the last couple of weeks that we need to get ready to put out, and we'll start sharing that. So make sure you go to our YouTube channel, Craving Cars. There you go. Check that out. We're revamping the whole Craving Cars Live website, so that won't be your base right now. Just go to Craving Cars on Facebook and Craving Cars on YouTube. That'll be your base.
And Instagram. Actually, Instagram and Facebook at Craving Cars, or just YouTube. Search Craving Cars.
Again, big shout out to our sponsors for sure. We Are Warriors, Uncorked, Richline, Timely Delivery, Auto Beauty Center, of course, for this gorgeous studio we have. And
Flying H. You forgot that one.
And our two big
as long as you don't mention cartoons. We don't want to say that name. No, seriously, he's the greatest.
There you go. Well, and to our biggest sponsors, our wives. My wife Tamara, your wife Dottie. Thanks so much for always allowing us to do what we do. Takes a lot of time.
Thank you. Is there like a Hold on. There we go. Woo! I'm sorry, I hit like all the buttons. I apologize.
Right, there you go. That's all right.
Either way, guys, thanks for joining. I think we're signing out for the day. Appreciate all of you once again. Like, share, and subscribe, and all the other good fun stuff. Comment all kinds of rad things down below. I'm Corey Pratt.
I'm Chris Ruck.
And to remember all you cravers out there,
keep craving.